Hi, this is our final module, and again, I wish we really had more time to spend together because we could spend a month talking about this. This module is entitled Policy Implications, and here I want to be a little more careful and warn you about some things. As you have figured out by now from all the lectures and readings, this is a very controversial field. And in the United States, we are an outlier. Most of our articles, most of our discussion is really very different than the rest of the world. And so the centerpiece for this module is the WHO Closing the Gap in a Generation report from 2008. You have on Blackboard, I think I will post both the complete version up there, or you certainly can Google it and get it. But I'll be asking you to read the executive summary. And this is, I want to emphasize this, a middle-of-the-road consensus of world public health people about things that we can do to eliminate health inequities. Think about it. The WHO report is talking about the entire world. And it's arguing that in the course of one generation, which usually is considered 25 to 30 years, that we could eliminate all health inequities. It's an amazing thought. They did this based on their readings of the literature and their understanding about how health inequities are created and what we can do to eliminate them. I think that that report is a reasonable projection of what is possible if we had the political will to do it. Most Americans would argue that that's a wild thought, and there's no way in the next 30 years we could eliminate all the health inequities that exist in the United States. So why is it that the WHO takes that position and has a list of policy recommendations to lead us to that, and in the United States we never even mention it? Healthy People 2020 calls for the elimination of health disparities and the establishment of health equity, just as Healthy People 2000 and Healthy People 1990 did. And we haven't made much progress in those 30 years on that issue. So in this module, because we don't have a lot of time, I'm going to be presenting one analysis of why we're in trouble and how we got there. The Coburn article is going to criticize what's called neoliberal ideology. This is a blatantly political position. It's a position that I happen to support. You don't have to agree. What neoliberal is not liberal. Don't get confused. Neoliberal is really a conservative, very, very conservative view of the world. And David Coburn is criticizing that view and saying that neoliberal ideology, that sort of American individualism on steroids, is what has made this country have increasing income gaps, increasing wealth gaps, increasing health disparities. And that we have to address that ideology directly if we're going to, in fact, make any progress on health inequities. So we're going to be reading that. Now, there are criticisms of this position and the WHO position from the right and from the left. My personal position on the WHO report is that it's too conservative. But I won't bore you with that right now. It would be a remarkable thing if in the United States we adapted this simple World Health Organization program. The only organization in public health that has openly endorsed this is the NACCHO, the National Association of City and County Health Officers. Certainly APHA, the American Public Health Association, endorses most of it in our policy history, but it has not officially come out and taken a position on this particular report. So this is where you get to think about what you've learned in the course, sort of recalibrate your ideas about health disparities and health equities. Use these learnings to inform the paper that you're going to hand in, and ask yourself, what should we do? Is it possible to eliminate health disparities in this country in the next 30 years? What do you think?